Jamal Bethea here. This is the Clutch Report. I'm just reacting to another video. This is First Take, Stephen A., Mad Dog Russo, and Molly Kiram. And the conversation continues surrounding the face of the league, or what player they're going to use as, like, you know, the future of the league. There was Michael, there was Kobe, there was LeBron. There was probably Bird and Magic in the 80s. Probably a little more Bird probably a little more Magic, to be honest, because he had a little more sizzle to his personality. But the question is, going forward after LeBron, Steph, after they retire, who's going to be the face of the league? Is it Tatum? Is it Jokic? Is it Giannis? Is it Anthony Edwards, who doesn't seem to even want it, to be honest, because he thinks they're too critical of NBA players, which I agree with on some level. But it's really just that kind of conversation, and I find it fascinating. I'll tell you what I think so I can go ahead and get started with the video.
Hey, welcome into First Take exclusively on YouTube. Christopher Mad Dog Russo to my left, Stephen A. Smith also gracing your screen in just a moment. There he is. All right, guys, some NBA stuff to dive into. There's been an ongoing conversation of who will be the face of the league after the NBA OGs like LeBron, Steph, and Durant pass the torch. Some say finals champ Jayson Tatum, while others have mentioned Anthony Edwards as the future, even though he admitted to not wanting the weight of the crown. CEO...
I'm going to just stop and say this really quickly. To be honest, I love Anthony Edwards. I think he has the most combination of personality and talent out of everybody. Jayson Tatum's a great guy, but he's not the most entertaining, right? Jokic as well. Jokic is a monster, but not really entertaining. Anthony Edwards honestly needs to grow up some. And he's young. They're in their 20s. I think sometimes we don't realize we put a lot of pressure on these young guys to be mature and say the right thing and make the right choice. It's tough. But in my opinion, he needs to grow up some, because the whole I don't want it, y'all can keep it. I get that they're overly critical sometimes, and the media don't want to admit that. But, you know, just like Carmelo Anthony basically told him, just embrace it, dog. Like, just embrace it.
Clutch Sports' Rich Paul weighed in on the matter yesterday on the Pat McAfee show.
How you conduct yourself matters. You know, the things within the game and you know, the integrity that you carry matters. And so the league can be whatever the players want it to be. You know, I think the league has to be looked at as a partner. It can't just be looked at as a bank. There's a responsibility and accountability that comes with being a professional athlete. It's even a higher level of that comes with being a star or a budding star, or, you know, one of the legendary guys in the league. And I know we had that face of the league conversation, and I don't think there's going to be a next quote unquote face of the league. I think there'll be a community, just like it was when Jordan left in 98. It became.
I completely agree. And I think that's kind of what I was feeling. Me and my sister were having these conversations over the years. Who's going to be the guy when LeBron and them leave? And to be honest, I don't see one single guy who I'm like, that's him. Whether it be Anthony Edwards and kind of the immaturity, whether it be Jayson Tatum, and while he's a great guy, he just doesn't have as much like personality, or whether it be, you know, Giannis, who his game seems to be great, but he's kind of finite. I always said the Bucks were lucky in 2021 to win that title. They faced multiple teams with serious injuries. So did the Suns that year, especially round one against the Lakers, who were probably going to repeat if they stayed healthy, with Anthony Davis and LeBron ankle being kind of maybe 85% of itself. But, you know, after that, Giannis is kind of sunken back into the pile a little bit. The conversation about him, we don't talk about Giannis like we did 2, 3, 4 years ago. We just don't. He's still averaging 30 and 15 and something else, but, you know, him and Dame together hasn't seemed to work. And, you know, you got Boston, Cleveland, and New York in front of Milwaukee with those two stars on the same team. So I agree. I think it's going to be a committee of players. I don't see one single basketball player being the face. At least I don't see it right now.
And a community. And so I think we should embrace that. It's not so naming somebody. If it becomes one face, then that's because that person earned it.
Stephen A., do you agree with Rich Paul that it won't be a face, more of a community?
Well, if he's right, it's because nobody stood out. And so I would challenge Rich Paul on that from the standpoint that, you know, the good side of what he's saying, Molly and Doggy, is that if there is no one definitive face, it's because there's a bevy of spectacular players that we can't make up our minds about because that level of parity exists in the league and we should appreciate it all. And I think that's a way to help promote the league moving forward along with the players themselves. I get where he's coming from in regards to that. My response to that is, Doggy, you would know this in all of your years of covering sports as well as myself. When it's that Goliath that's on top of the hill and everybody is shooting for that, that's what makes things incredibly compelling as well. When we look at the National Football League, it's Patrick Mahomes and everybody else. But then Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles roll up in the Super Bowl and they blitz them.
I'm still shocked. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like all season, we kept saying, the Chiefs are winning damn near every game, but it's by like 3 points. Like they won all season in very small margins. And a victory is a victory, but I think all of football fans who really know football, I think we all kind of felt like somebody's going to get them at some point. I just didn't think it would be in the Super Bowl and definitely not up 34-0 at one point. That was wild to me.
They just ramrodded them. That's a beautiful, beautiful thing to see because everybody is thinking that dude's on the top of the hill. And then all of a sudden, you see him get knocked off. Once upon a time, it was the Yankees. Now it's the Los Angeles Dodgers. Let's see what happens when the Golden State Warriors were in the NBA Finals and they had KD and stuff like that. Yeah, the only thing that tainted their three-peat was obviously this Achilles tear to Kevin Durant and ACL injury to Klay Thompson. So we saw Toronto beat them. But if they had been healthy and had been knocked off, it would have been incredibly appealing. LeBron James, watching him win or lose, people gravitate to that person that is the creme de la creme and is above the crowd, but then watching them get knocked off their pedestal or somebody attempting to do so. So it's just a matter of what your taste is. And history has shown us that people do gravitate to that one preeminent superstar, whether it's an individual or a team, who makes that kind of noise and everybody is gunning for them. They appreciate that more than, okay, everybody, there's so many stars, which one do you pick from? No, we want a definitive face attached to it. And that, in that regard, I would disagree with Rich Paul on that.
I agree.
Before Russo says anything, I don't understand what he's disagreeing with. Rich Paul is basically saying, I feel like they're saying the same thing from two different sides. Rich Paul is saying, who's going to earn the right to be the number one guy? I don't see anybody right now. Stephen A is trying to make it sound pretty and beautiful. Well, it's because we have so much talent and we should respect it from that standpoint. Yeah, we get it. But the point is nobody, like Stephen A said, it's because nobody stands out yet. They're all really good players. Like, again, Jayson Tatum, excellent player for the first 6 or 7 years of his career, especially with winning a title. His career is comparable to Bird's and in some ways Jordan's. They had a segment on First Take and they showed it. They were like, yeah, Jayson Tatum honestly has the credentials to be a number one guy. I just don't think he has the charisma. And that doesn't make him anything but a great dude. Like Jayson Tatum's a great freaking dude. It's not even about him being not worthy of it, but you got to have some more pizzazz. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm not sure what he's disagreeing with necessarily. I also think it's going to be by committee. I don't see one guy being the guy. I just don't right now. Now, he's also correct that when there's one dog on top of the mountain and everybody's gunning for that, you see the best of everybody. Like back when Clyde Drexler was like, look, I'm a damn good shooting guard too. I mean, we all knew Michael was better, but it was nice that Clyde was gunning for him like that. Recognize me too. Wait a minute. I should be up there. My name should be right there. Why am I not standing right there? It did do something different for the league. But I'm just saying, who's that guy? What are you disagreeing with? Who is that guy? That's what I would ask Stephen A.
I agree with you 100%, Steve. Look at Gretzky. He was the face of the hockey. Look at, Tiger, the face of golf. Polarizing. When form, Mahomes, before that, Brady, Jordan and LeBron. You need that one guy. I would say, and I know everybody's going to say, well, you got to have the American player. I would say because of the market he's in, and the fact that he's great and he's got a lot of work to do, I think Luka's got a possibility for this. He's in L.A.
Yep.
Okay, he's young, and let's face it, he's probably top 3-4 players in the league right now, with the Joker, with SGA down the road maybe. You can't count Embiid. He's probably better than Tatum, and he's in L.A., which is important.
Why not Jayson Tatum?
Well, he's not.
Before they talk about why not Jayson Tatum, I actually like that. Luka Dončić could very well be it. He's the guy. He's dominant. He gonna kill you. His efficiency could be better. He's not as efficient as I would like him to be. But then again, being wildly efficient is also rare. Kobe only shot 44% from the floor. AI was like 42. Tracy McGrady was like 42, 43. You know, not everybody's efficient in NBA history. Let me just take that fallacy off the table. But Luka Dončić, he's the kind of guy, he'll shoot a three in your face. He'll growl, he'll roar. You know what I mean? He said too fucking small one time to somebody. Like, Luka could really be it. I wasn't thinking Luka Dončić because when you also think face of the league, you think champion. And I know, Jayson Tatum. But he didn't win Finals MVP. He averaged 22, 7, and 7, which is nice, but he also shot 39%, which means Boston won by committee last year. Boston won a championship by committee. They didn't win because of Jayson Tatum. You know what I mean? And even when Shaq and Kobe were together and Shaq was still the better player between the two, Kobe's numbers still said number one guy. And then once Kobe got his sidekick, he went back and won on his own. Like, if Luka wants to be the number one guy, at some point, he's going to have to win the title. But right now, he probably has the best mixture of talent and accomplishment. No, I'm sorry, talent and personality. Tatum has the best mixture of talent and accomplishment. Luka probably has the best mixture of talent and personality. If Luka could lead the Lakers to a title in the next 2-3 seasons, I think he probably would have a chance to be the number one guy in the NBA. But now let's see what they are going to say about Tatum.
On a team that's got a lot of great players, and he's on, and that's the
He deserves
Celtics.
consideration, though.
Yeah,
He deserves consideration.
yeah. You think he does? Yeah, but he's
I
on.
do.
He got so many guys. I mean, Luka is on the Lakers. He's going to be by far their best player. I would think Steve, would have the best chance.
Interesting.
We have to wait and see.
What Mad Dog really just said is what I basically just said in a different way. The Celtics won the title last year by committee. Jaylen Brown won the MVP of the finals. He averaged 20 and 4 and 4. That's not great numbers, but he shot 45% from the floor, 20 and 4 and 4 and 45. Okay, solid at best, but hey, he just happened to be the best one. If Tatum would have shot 46, 47%, he would have undoubtedly been MVP of the finals. But 22 points by itself is like, okay, very good, very good. But when you're shooting 39%, this means you weren't the most impactful player. And I don't know if Jayson Tatum being on a team that has so much talent is hurting him versus his personality doesn't stand out. He just doesn't. Like, he doesn't exude number one guy energy. He exudes like great player, great guy. You know what I'm saying? But he does have a title. And I have said, you know, once LeBron retires, my two favorite players will be to watch Jayson Tatum, Anthony Edwards. So like Stephen A. said, he deserves consideration. That is flat out true. He should be in the conversation for face of the league. He has Gatorade commercials. I mean, he's dating the gorgeous LMA. You know what I mean? Has a baby by her. Like, all of that. He has all of the cachet. I want to see him have more personality. And I need to see him get some MVPs, some finals MVPs. If Luka beats Jayson Tatum to a finals MVP, I'm going with Luka.
See on that.
Where I do agree with Rich for sure, though, is that it can't be assigned. It has to be earned.
Correct.
Like it has
Gotta win some
to
championships.
organically happen.
Yes.
All right. So Rich Paul also weighed in on not wanting young players to chase the NBA GOAT.
Okay, so that was really all I wanted to talk about. But I think this is a very interesting conversation because I also do agree that there won't really be a face of the league guy. It'll be more of a committee. I remember NBA 2K11 or 12. It was like Blake Griffin, Kevin Durant, and Derrick Rose all on the cover of the game at the time. Like, sometime there is a moment or two in the league where it's just kind of like maybe the throne is vacant because nobody is truly sticking out. And by 2011, that was when LeBron lost to Dallas. Then he won in 2012 and he won in 2013. And that put LeBron officially on top of the league, even though he technically had probably still been the best name to make money off of and to cover before that for the last 8-9 years. But once LeBron won that title, he got humbled against Dallas. And then once he won that title, it was official. Oh, it's LeBron. It was official at that point. And so I think what we're looking for is Luka to win the title or Tatum to win an MVP, which means he's going to have to win another title, which Boston, to me, has the best chance this year. he got to get a finals MVP. If Jayson Tatum gets a finals MVP this season, I'll close with this. If he gets a finals MVP this year, that'll be 2 rings, right? 1 finals MVP in your first 8, 9 seasons of your career. At that point, he's at least top 2 guys in consideration for the MVP. I'm sorry. he would be officially one of the top 2 candidates to be face of the league. So that's what I'm looking for. If he can do that, then we may have to just default give it to him. But right now, I see it, like Rich Paul said, I think it's by committee. Part of it is because it's a lot of talent, and part of it is because no one really has the complete combination of personality, accomplishment, and talent. Those are just the facts. This is the Clutch Report. Jamal reacts. Peace.